I'm doing my rounds in the clinic and I literally see a staff laying on their stomach on the floor on their personal cell phone, and their kid is doing their kid thing. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Of course, like I immediately redirected their attention and corrected that behavior.
Yeah, we fired probably 4 or 5 people on the spot for that. But home. Yeah. I really honestly, like I'm jaw open to, I'm like, in the clinic, because my little, in my mind, I was like, well, this is an in-home issue. If this would have been clinic, we wouldn't have had this issue. And the only reason we caught this issue is because the families had cameras. So, but the staff knew that there was a camera watching them. And we got sent the video of the tech in the recliner on her cell phone. And you could see the swiping. And
kid just running around,
stimming the storm, just flapping and running and having a good old time, not having to engage. And then it was really clear why Tech B on the case was having really, really severe behaviors with this kiddo.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because you get one lady comes out and I just get to do my thing in my happy place and not be challenged a bit. And then the other person comes in and expects me to do all this hard work. Yeah. Yep. April Fool's. Like, what? Yeah.
I think I have a better one than that.
Oh, no, there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, I don't know. How about when, a tech is on the couch sleeping?
Wow.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that beats being on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, the parent called me and is like, he's sleeping on the couch. And I was like, what? Like, how embarrassing. Like, so embarrassing for me, right?
Yes.
And thank goodness the parents had, because like, I think some parents are so gracious and they're like, oh, he must have just been tired, or like, maybe didn't say, wouldn't have said anything to me like that first time. I mean, there's some wild things that go on in home, right? That like we've heard about, but thank goodness that family was able to like tell me, felt comfortable and like right away to say like, he's sleeping on the couch, and it was everything in me not to get in my car and drive over there. I wanted to be like, let him sleep. Let him wake up to me. I really wanted to drive over there, but I couldn't. I was with another client.
Great restraint there, Mallory. Great restraint.
Yeah, it was. I was like, what in the world? But, and I will say like, there was he didn't defend himself. He didn't say, he didn't like, but I was like, I mean, you're done. There's, there's nothing else I can say here. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that might be worse than the cell phone.
That's not in our handbook. Immediate termination, sleeping on the job.
We need to add that.
Yeah,
I had a staff member when for an in-home, we had, at the time we were using a time clock, like on an app, and it had a geofence. And I didn't know this, but until he ended up, I think we termed him. I can't remember. It's been a while, but they have 15 minutes to tear down and do their notes and everything. Well, he was leaving 15 minutes early and sitting in his car. And so he was sitting on the clock for 15 minutes and being paid for it because he knew about the geofence. And so he didn't leave. He would sit in his car until he was done, until the 15 minutes. So he was literally, and so I was billing for it, right? Like, because I didn't know that he was stealing time, because the parents never told me because they didn't want to get him in trouble. And I was like, and then they also, what brought it to a head was they said he was stealing because he was teaching money or something, or I don't remember what it was, but he was stealing the money that was for the kids for teaching. And then that's when it came to a head. Well, the money keeps missing. We can't find the quarters and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. And then come to find out. And he's leaving 15 minutes early than his shift and sitting in his car. And I was like, so Alecia, when you're talking about like audits, I'm sitting there freaking out because I'm thinking in my head, oh my goodness, this is, I mean, this was like years ago, like so far.
So insurance, this was like way out. You can't come back for this.
Yeah, like we weren't even in network with
this. Was like 2000.
Actually, that's the good thing. Like, but I mean, like that's where you start questioning. That's something that you go, oh my goodness, I need to go back. And we did on some of it. Like the ones I knew for a fact, we did go back and say, hey, I need you to correct this claim. But that was, I think, the hard thing within home. You know, they don't want to get the therapist in trouble, or you know, or they try to
make
be
a
nice,
relationship, right?
Well, they really do. You know, and that's where I look at like what the board has done about like dual relationships and all of this stuff and the ethical pieces. Like, it really truly is there for a reason. And sometimes we joke about like, oh, can you take a bottle of water? Do you have to bring your own toilet paper? Like we get like really nitpicky in some of the conversations I've seen. But like ultimately it is to try to keep everyone safe, because it is like you're in people's homes for many hours a week, and it's just human nature. You're going to get comfortable.
Yep.
And you know, and there we had situations, right, where it wasn't brought to our attention, and this was years ago, before a lot of the fancy technology that we have now, but it wasn't brought to our attention that, you know, the techs were calling out directly to and this was also before we changed our policies to make sure that schedules only went through the scheduling director, right? The parents and the staff, like the tech and the parents could not, or even BCBAs could not do their own schedule, because there was a lot of like finagling going around until someone got irritated, and then they brought all of that back up, right? It was like, oh, it's, you know, it's fine if you need to cancel. It's fine. Yeah, I get it. It's fine. It's fine. Until it wasn't fine anymore. Right. And then they would bring to our attention that so-and-so has been canceling numerous times, or, oh, well, we've been letting them make it up on Saturdays, even though they were still saying they were doing it on Thursdays, right? All kinds of stuff like that happens. And so that is why we have policies, but not just having policies, but like following up on these things,
rotating,
but there's still things are still going to happen. Yeah. In fact, these things that happen that are like, are you got to be kidding me? Are these like, are you April Foolsing me right now? Are the things that sometimes then bring about these policies and change within the organization. Okay, well, I'm not that. This is never happening again on my watch.
I got one.
Oh gosh, Chris.
I don't even know how to say this, but we had a staff that tried to slide into a parent's DM.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was an immediate termination and report to the board.
It's Monday through Friday, questioning my life decisions at the moment right now. Totally.
On a kind of a serious note for just a minute, I mean, this is where like we have to really be careful. This is like the abuse that happens in our field, right? That sometimes we think, oh, that would never happen to us, right? And it is a little sobering, because it's like it could, really could, because it's just the nature of the job.
Yeah, I mean, the one that still haunts my dream, right? Like seriously, is the one, I can't remember what state it was in, but he said, this is why I got this job, so I could do this, because I knew I would be alone in homes with little kids, so I could do what I wanted to do with them. Like, it's like, what in the world?
I mean, that's what we started shifting towards the end before we closed. I mean, we were shifting towards like, you have to do therapy in open spaces. Yes. We took out the therapy in the basement with the door shut. Like we didn't allow that anymore. A couple of situations we did, they had cameras and stuff like that, but like it really started to get us thinking about things in a different light, as far as like one of our staff being left alone with a learner in an isolated space, even if the parent was home, you know, if they were in another. Because then we also had the thing where, you know, I mean, it's hard to be a parent, and it's even harder to be a parent when you have a child with special needs, with high needs, right? Kids who don't sleep. And so, you know, we would have parents that would use their time to take a nap even, right? So like they're not really being, you know, supervised, right? And so, and it was also just as much to protect our staff too, so that, you know, if you had a parent who had a suspicion or a concern or a worry or active imagination or whatever, then, and our staff was truly innocent, right? That would also protect our staff. So we really got to where we were really putting a lot of things in place with those in-home sessions to try to keep everyone safe the best that we could.